Meet Barnaby, a gentle brachiosaurus with a giant heart, living in the middle of a modern city. Today, he has just one tiny wish: to taste a delicious ice cream cone from the neighborhood ice cream truck. But for a dinosaur his size, this simple mission becomes a hilarious adventure, filled with tangled messes and comical traffic jams. Join Barnaby on his clumsy quest through the bustling streets and discover how one giant sneeze can lead to the sweetest and most unexpected act of kindness. Barnaby the Brachiosaurus lived in a special apartment as big as a warehouse, right in the middle of a bustling city. From his giant window, he could see the whole world hurry by. But today, Barnaby wasn't watching the cars or the clouds. His gaze was fixed on a colorful picture across the street, a picture of a swirly, sweet, and wonderful ice cream cone. He let out a long, low sigh, a sound so deep it made the windows gently rattle. Oh, how he wished he could have just one taste. Suddenly, a cheerful little tune drifted through the air. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling! It was them! The famous Sonny's ice cream truck, a tiny rainbow on wheels, was driving right down his street. That was it! Barnaby's eyes lit up with determination. His small wish was now a grand mission. No matter how big he was and how small the city seemed, he was going to get his ice cream. His great snack adventure had officially begun. But there was a small problem. Barnaby didn't have any money, so he decided to be helpful. Seeing a family of little birds waiting to cross the street, he gently placed his long tail down to stop the traffic. It worked! A little too well. Soon the street was filled with a chorus of friendly beeps and toots. It was the cutest traffic jam the city had ever seen. One of the grateful birds chirped a thank you and dropped a single shiny coin near his foot. Success! With a coin in his, held carefully in his mouth, Barnaby began his journey. Thump, thump, thump went his giant feet on the pavement. To the people on the sidewalk, it was a strange sight. All they could see was a giant yellow and green leg, like a friendly tree trunk, walking past the shops. Barnaby tried his best to be careful, lifting his feet high over the little cars and waving hello to the people in the tall buildings. Navigating the city was tricky. At one point, Barnaby looked up to see a lovely string of colorful flags between two buildings. How pretty, he thought. But as he walked under them, whoops, his long neck got completely tangled up. For a moment, he was stuck, wearing the festive banners like a giant, colorful necklace. He didn't panic. He just blinked his big, gentle eyes and carefully, slowly untangled himself, one flag at a time. Barnaby realized he couldn't see the little ice cream truck from down on the street. So he found a nice open spot, took a deep breath, and stretched his neck up and up and up. His head rose high above the shortest buildings, then the taller ones, until he was looking down at the city like a giant friendly periscope. The cars looked like tiny beetles, and the people looked like busy little ants. From his amazing bird's-eye view, Barnaby scanned the city. He looked past the library, over the train station, and then there it was. Tucked away in a beautiful green park, he saw it. A tiny splash of color, the little ice cream truck parked right next to the duck pond. It was like finding a tiny, sweet treasure. His heart did a happy little flip. Now he knew exactly where to go. Finally, he made it. Barnaby arrived at the ice cream truck. He leaned his enormous head down, 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 until his nose was right at the window. The friendly man inside looked up and smiled. "One ice cream, please," Barnaby said in his deep, rumbly voice. Then, very carefully, he opened his mouth and gently presented the single, tiny, shiny coin that rested on the tip of his giant tongue. The ice cream man chuckled and took the coin. A moment later, he handed Barnaby his treat. It was a perfect swirly cone of vanilla ice cream with a cherry on top. But to Barnaby, it was impossibly small. It was like a tiny snowflake of sweetness. He held his breath, trying to be as gentle as possible. He balanced the tiny cone on the tip of his nose just so he could get a better look at it before his first delicious bite. He leaned in, ready for the best taste of his life, but the icy coldness of the little cone tickled his giant nose. He felt a funny little wiggle, then a bigger rumble, and then achoo! A huge, powerful, but gentle sneeze blew out from his nose. The tiny ice cream cone was launched into the air, flying in a perfect arc like a tiny, sweet rocket against the blue sky. Oh no! Barnaby watched in horror as his treat flew away. But then something amazing happened. The ice cream landed perfectly upside down, right on the head of a little girl sitting on a park bench. She had been crying, but now she was silent. She felt the cold surprise on her head, looked up, and a big, beautiful giggle bubbled out. She wasn't sad anymore. She had an ice cream hat. Seeing the little girl laugh, the kind ice cream man smiled the biggest smile. He understood that Barnaby had a giant body and an even bigger heart. So he disappeared into his truck and came back with a giant, overflowing bucket of ice cream just for Barnaby. And so Barnaby finally got his treat. He sat happily in the park, using a tiny spoon that looked like a toothpick, enjoying every single delicious and well-deserved bite.